If you thought housing in Canada was already expensive, get ready for some changes that could make things even more costly in the long run. The federal government, led by Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland, have recently made some significant changes to their housing plan that will have a real impact on the Canadian housing market, claiming to help first-time homebuyers. But will they really be helping these people who feel disenfranchised and that they'll never be able to actually own a home in Canada? Or is this just a last gasp ploy to try to gain back some of the voter confidence that they've clearly lost over the last number of months? Today, we're breaking down these new housing rules, including the raised mortgage insurance cap and extended amortization periods, and exploring how they may impact you. Grab your popcorn. My name is Morgan Little. I'm a realtor here in the Greater Toronto Hamilton area, and if there's ever anything I can do to help in your journey, feel free to reach out, book a call using the Calendly link in the description below, or just shoot me a text. Now, let's get into it. On September 16th, Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland announced changes to some mortgage rules as part of an effort to make housing more affordable, a critical political issue that has hurt Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his Liberal government. I'm going to be discussing these changes and what it means for you as a potential homebuyer.
We are raising the level for insured mortgages from 1 million to 1.5 million. The 1 million level was set in 2012. Since then, Canada's nominal GDP has increased by 65%. It was time to look at that number. And that is a change that is going to have a real impact for thousands, even millions of Canadians. It is going to put the dream of home ownership in reach for more young Canadians.
Freeland had announced that the government was increasing the cap on insured mortgages to $1.5 million from $1 million as it was previously, which would allow more people to buy a house with the minimum down payment already required of 5%. Now, there may be some caveats to this because as it stands now, you can only put 5% down on a home up to $500,000, 10% on the amount from $500,000 up to $999,000, and then you're required to put 20% down on a home that's $1 million or more. That's the part that changed. The $1 million cap has now become $1.5 million. Whether you're going to be able to put only 5% down on a house up to $1.5 million, I'm not exactly clear on yet, or if it will be something similar to the existing structure that we have, where maybe you'd be required to put 5% down up to $500,000, like I mentioned, and then maybe 10% from $500,000 up to $1.5 million. We'll have to see how that plays out as they release more details. And as it stands, anything under 20% would require CMHC or something similar mortgage insurance to protect the lender in case of default. On the surface, this looks good for first-time homebuyers who've been struggling to save up enough down payment. However, allowing more people to buy more expensive homes for less money up front, it could artificially boost demand and push prices even higher, especially in markets like Toronto and Vancouver, which we've seen and what we're trying to avoid. And remember, you still have to qualify for the mortgage. So if you're putting down less money up front, it means you're going to have a higher mortgage payment monthly, which brings us to change number 2.
Today, we are announcing that 30-year amortizations on insured mortgages will be available for all first-time homebuyers. This really is about fairness for every generation. It's about making that first home more available for young Canadians, for first-time home buyers.
The government had earlier announced that they would have 30-year amortization periods for buyers of new build homes only. They've now extended that to include all resale homes, which didn't make a lot of sense before because most first-time home buyers are likely not going to buy a brand new build home. This will effectively lower monthly payments, allowing people to afford homes in higher price brackets. However, while lower monthly payments may seem like a win, extending amortization periods will increase the overall amount of interest that you pay, like 25% more. So this is just going to create more long-term debt for people. So although buyers may see an upfront reduction in their costs, they're definitely going to pay far more interest over the long term. It's a short-term fix that may lead to long-term financial challenges. And if you're not aware, mortgages are front-loaded, meaning that you pay more towards interest during the first portion of your mortgage than you do towards principal. This is just going to extend that period of of time where you're paying more towards interest. Canada cracked down on lengthy mortgage amortizations during the 2008 global financial crisis. Until this year, buyers who required government-backed default insurance on their mortgages were limited to a 25-year amortization. So like I said, these changes could and likely will create a short-term boost in housing activity. So if you've been sitting on the sideline and maybe waiting for rates to come down, it could be a great opportunity for buyers to get into the market in the near future. Because by extending the amortization period and allowing insured mortgages on homes up to 1.5 million, the government is essentially making it easier for people to buy. However, this raises concerns about inflation and the Bank of Canada's ability to manage interest rates. Increased demand for these changes could push prices higher, making it even more difficult to control inflation and eventually lower interest rates. Freeland did push back on this, saying, "What this is all about is putting the dream of home ownership in reach for younger Canadians, giving first-time buyers a leg up in the housing market." Do you believe this, or do you think, based on past performance, this is just a ploy to gain the confidence back of young voters who may have been swinging the other direction? Let me know in the comments. And for those who thought that Trudeau has always controlled the Bank of Canada and the monetary policy, this should show you that they definitely do not, because it's not helping Tiff Macklem and the Bank of Canada in their quest to lower rates and stabilize inflation and housing prices as best they can. And we have been moving towards that elusive 2% inflation that their goal has been, even though there's caveats to that where they're not including all of the things that actually add to inflation. That's another video though. So instead of letting the market adjust naturally, these policies may inflate demand, which will likely keep housing prices high, especially for younger Canadians trying to enter the market in the future. We are now making the boldest mortgage reforms in decades to unlock home ownership for younger Canadians, Freeland said in the news release, with these moves taking effect on December 15th. I am curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think this is a good move? It's going to help people get into the market, regardless of the fact that it may create long-term higher debt for people? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, if there's ever anything I can do to help in your journey, feel free to book a call using the link below or shoot me a text, and I will see you on the next one.